Hello everybody and welcome to the 8.9 test server. I thought I might hop in here and let you know what's new and what's coming up to the world of tanks. I'm gonna go and talk about all the TDs that are being introduced in 8.9, the German TD line. There's also 3 new premium tanks, including a Japanese tank. So we're gonna go ahead and look at all those tanks, and yeah, so let's start with the German TD line. So first up, we're gonna take a look at the new tier 4 tank. This comes up after the Martyr 2. It goes into the Martyr 38T. This means if you play the Martyr 2 now and get enough XP, you can already unlock the tier 4 from the get-go. You don't have to grind the Martyr 2 in the 8.9 server because it's already there. So if you're looking to grind this tech tree, you might as well play the Martyr 2 right now and get yourself that XP. You only need 3,800 research cost, so if you do like a couple of dailies, that should be easily be doable. So let's take a look at the tank. As you will notice with these tanks, in the entire line, it's not about the armor at all. It's mostly about the gun, the first speed, the speed, and the fuel ranges. So as you can see, the whole armor might be 50, but I'm pretty sure that is not the shield. It's gonna be this armor over here. But like I said, these tanks are mostly about the cannons. It packs a pretty good gun for a tier 4. I kinda expected a little bit of a higher alpha gun. But you know, it's alright. 108 penetration, 110 average damage. Accuracy is pretty good. 1.5 aiming time is ridiculously good. And has a really high rate of fire. I think this will make a pretty damn funny TD to play with. It has a pretty good speed as well, 47. You would not expect this from the Martyr, to be honest. But that's pretty damn good. The first speed of 42 is really well. 360 fuel range, more than enough for tier 4. Yeah, it's a pretty damn good tank. I think this could be a lot of fun to play in tier 4. And might be a keeper just for some fun. It kind of feels like the Martyr we always wanted after the Martyr 2 got nerfed several times. So I think this is going to be a really good choice. So after you've played the Martyr 38T, you will unlock the Panzer SFL4C. You need about 12k experience points to unlock it, which is not a lot. I think this will be a really easy grind. And then you get Just Beauty. It's pretty much the most boxy of tanks I've ever seen. It's just like a shoebox, really. And when I saw all the pictures coming out that were being leaked and stuff, I thought this was going to be one of the more, well, slower tanks. Not that good of a camo, etc. Because of the way, just how it looks. But as it turns out, it's actually one of the most speedy of the new TD lines. It actually goes 60 with a 48 to first speed, which is really good. 380 fuel range. It's also pretty damn good at tier 5. Whole armor, like I said before, it's not about the armor, it is all about the guns. And boy, does this thing get a gun. A tier 8, 8.8 flak gun. It's kind of like the flak version of the Tiger gun. Has a rate of fire of 8, which is really good. 0.32 accuracy. Let me just take it out like this. 2.3 aiming time is also really nice because you don't have a turret and you're gonna have to turn around a lot. The aiming time, the lower that is, the more useful it's gonna be. Otherwise, every time you're gonna move, you're gonna have to aim very long. Right now, 2.3 aiming time, that won't be a problem at all. Yeah, the alpha almost 240 with a pen of 194. Remember, this is tier 5. You're gonna pen all the tier 5 super easy. You're gonna pen all the tier 6s really easy. And I don't think you're gonna have that much troubles penning any of the tier 7s you're gonna meet. You basically have the same pen as the Panther, and the Panther is tier 7. The 194 pen is just really good. The Gold Shell pen is 237. That's ridiculous. That's really good. And has an average damage of 240, but combined with a rate of fire, this is a pretty beastly gun for tier 5, to be honest. But like I said, it is all about the guns and the speed. And the first speed and the fuel ranges. You're not gonna make use of any armor at all. You're gonna be stealthy, you're gonna be speedy, you're gonna be flanking. And I think this is gonna be actually a really, really good tank. So this is the Nashorn that comes forth from the Panzer IV FL4C. The Nashorn gets a slight gun upgrade from the tier 5. It's actually historically accurate. It gets the 88 gun, basically the non-flak version of the 88 on the tier 5. It's the same gun as the Jagdpanther 2, the 30 and the Jagdpanther get, but at tier 6. So you're gonna have 203 pen, which is a slight upgrade. You're gonna have 240 average damage, which is the same as the previous gun. Accuracy is still really good, 0.32, with an aiming time of 1.9, which is really, really nice. You do lose some speed over the tier 5, whereas the tier 5 has 60 speed limit and a 48 to first speed. The Nashorn only gets 40 and 36. The whole armor isn't great, but that's the common theme of this entire line. Your 390 fuel range is going to be really, really good though. And I think this is pretty solid tier 6 glass cannon. And for those who think it has a lot of gun depression or a lot of gun dispersion, it does not really get that much. It gets enough, but it's not like legendary like the Dick and Max or anything like that. So I think overall it's a pretty solid tier 6, and yeah, it's not a bad tank at all. I think this grind is also pretty, you know, it's gonna be pretty good. So, and now we're on to the tier 7, the Panzer SFL5, which does get a pretty big gun upgrade. You're at tier 7 with a 12.8 centimeter cannon of 40. A rate of fire of 4.35, which is not great, but you get 490 average damage with a pen of 231. Accuracy of 0.36, not as great as the previous tanks, and the aiming time is 2.5, which is still pretty damn good considering the high caliber of a gun you get at this tier. This thing is all about the gun, even more so than the others. Like you only get 15 shells only, so you can shoot every guy on the team once. But if you hit him, you're gonna be doing 490 damage. So yeah, this is gonna be like the ISU of tier 7, basically. Whole armor of 50, so everybody's gonna pen you, but they're gonna have to see you first, and you're gonna see all of them coming with 400 view range at tier 7. Yeah, this can be a lot of fun. This is gonna be the ISU of tier 8, really. Of tier 7, sorry. This is gonna be, I don't know, this is gonna be derpy. It's gonna be doing a lot of alpha damage. All of these tanks have really good stealth combined with the 400 view range at tier 7. This thing, as long as you get, if you're at a range or you're flanking, you're gonna have to have the surprise factor, but this thing is gonna wreck people's days. You're basically gonna two-shot most tanks you're gonna come across, as long as they're not heavy tanks, basically. Do note though, you only get 25 kilometers an hour as your speed limit, with a 34 to first speed. The gun depression is actually really good. It's like Dick and Max good. As many of you would know, it's like a vacuum cleaner, really. It goes all the way down here. The gun traverse actually is not that great. And this gun mantlet, you might think that might be armored. You might gonna get some bounces on that, but no. This is not a really good gun mantlet at all. So like all the other tanks, you're just a glass cannon, really. But this cannon at tier 7, I think you're gonna have a lot of fun with it. And now we're on to the tier 8, which is actually the first TD that gets a fully rotating turret of this entire TD line. The tier 9 and 10 also get a fully rotating turret, but let's talk about this tier 8 one first. Your gun selection is gonna be really, really good, like most of these tanks. You're gonna have the 12.8 centimeter K44 L55, which means you have a rate of fire of 5.77, which is alright. A pen of 246, which is really good. 490 average damage, an accuracy of 0.35. 2.1 aiming time, which is also really nice, because you also have a turret. Yeah, it's gonna make sniping very well. You also have the derp gun of 15 centimeters, which has an average rate of fire of 3.33, which is not high at all. with only 215 pen, but you're gonna do 750 damage. An accuracy of 0.3 and an aiming time of 2.5. This is basically kind of like the ISU gun. The ISU gun, the BL9 has a higher alpha, but this one is more accurate. And the aiming time is way better than the ISU. So you sacrifice your average damage for accuracy and aiming time. And yeah, I think this take is gonna be pretty good fun. Not one I would keep personally though. I think the tier 9 and 10 are definitely keepers, so we're gonna talk about them in a short while. Also note it has 400 shoe range, which is really good. 42%, 42 to first speed, and a speed limit of 35. So it's not as speedy, but 35 is still pretty damn good. If you think about Centurions, which go 40, it's alright. It's good enough. And that's mostly because it only gets a tier 5 engine, as you will see there. And has a crew of 4. And yeah, it can carry a lot of shells, even for the 15 centimeter one. It can carry 30 shells. Let's see how much the 12.8 can get. Also 30 shells. So yeah, a pretty good tank. One I would keep. I'm not sure yet. We'll have to see on live really. The whole armor of 20, 10 and 8. So everybody's gonna pen you. Tier 1s can pen you. But yeah, all these tanks that have like no armor are gonna have really good camo values. Together with the guns, yeah, I think we can make this work. And pretty ridiculous looking tank actually. It actually looks the same almost frontally and backwards. But with the fully rotating turret and the gun selection, I think people will enjoy this one. So far, I really think there's not really a bad tank in this entire tech tree so far. I think this grind is going to be, you know, pretty, well, I wouldn't say easy, because it's still a grind. You're still going to need a lot of XP, but I think people are going to enjoy this line a lot, especially if you are going to make use of the camo values and all that jazz, because nobody has armor in this entire tech tree. So yeah, the tier 8, also a pretty good tank. And now we're on to the tier 9, the Waffenträger auf Panzer 4. It's basically a Panzer 4 chassis at tier 9, which is pretty crazy. And it gets a really ridiculous gun selection. They're all tier 10 guns. And you're gonna have the 2 top guns and the 2, well, pretty much stock guns are still tier 10. Out of the gun selection, the two top guns are the ones I'm gonna be looking at. It's basically either you want to go derp mode with less pen, more alpha, less accuracy, higher aiming time, 0.3A, 2.1 aiming time, or you're gonna go more accurate and you're gonna get the gun that is basically kind of like the Jagdtiger gun. Has a 5.61 rate of fire, 276 pen, which is really high, average damage of 560, which is not bad at all, 0.33 accuracy, 1.7 aiming time. So the gun selection basically means if you want to do higher alpha but less accurate, so more kind of troll-like, or are you gonna go with a more rapid firing, more pen but less alpha? I think both of these guns are gonna be viable. The 12.8 looks ridiculous. That's the one that's currently on the tank. A Panzer 4 with this cannon is just ridiculous. The whole armor of 80 only counts on the chassis. Everybody's gonna shoot these sides. Everybody's gonna shoot your turret basically. But as with all these TDs, you're gonna have good gamma values. So it's basically a matter of not being seen and not being shot at really. You're gonna have a speed limit of 38 at the first speed of 40, which is alright across the board. It's like average. 410 view range is important to note. That's a really good view range. There's only a couple of tanks at tier 9 to get that. I think the Patton and the Centurion 7-1 are 2 of those tanks. Gun depression wise, it's not as great. If you point your gun, like if you can see it here on the chassis. If you point it across this, so further than this, so from this point on, it's gonna have a little bit more gun depression. And forward, it's alright. It's not great. It's alright. It's doable. So yeah, another great tank, I think. Yeah. Well, what else can I say? You're gonna have more than enough shells as well. You're gonna have 26, 30, 40 shells. It's more than enough to take care of your enemies. And yeah, I think I might roll with the 12.8 on this one. I'd rather be more accurate than miss my shots in this thing. So I think the 12.8 is going to be a good life choices. For those who want to see how it looks with the derp cannon, there you go. You get a totally different looking turret there. But yeah, a really ridiculously good gun selection. And yeah, I think this is going to be a pretty damn good tier 9. So far, not a bad tank yet. So this is the tank everybody is curious about, the tier 10. What are you working towards if you're gonna grind this entire line? The Waffentrage auf E100. Probably pronounced it all wrong, but let's take a look at all the stats. You're gonna have a hull armor of 200 because it's a E100 chassis. So your hull is actually pretty well protected. The lower plate is still gonna be a weak spot in this. The upper plate is 200 angled. It's gonna be good. Side armor 120 and a back armor is going to be 150, but the back armor is only this. You're going to have a turret with only 20 armor frontally, 10 side and 8 in the back. Which means tier 1s can pen your turret. And this is also the thing you're going to have to hide when fighting with this thing. This is the only tank in the entire branch that gets an autoloader. And it has a gun selection of 2. So let's take a look at the guns. You're either going to have a 12.8 centimeter gun, which has 6 shells in its magazine. The time between shells is 2 seconds, which is really good. But you're going to reload for an entire minute. And the only way you can bring this time down is if you're going to have brothers in arms in your entire crew. Because you can't fit ventilation nor gun rammers on it. You can't fit gun rammers on it because it's an autoloader, and no ventilation because it's open topped. You're going to have a pen of 276, which is more than enough. The average damage is 560. So if you take this into account with 6 shells at 560 damage, if you pen everything of those shells, every shell must pen, you can kill a mouse with 3000 health in one clip. Being able to pen with this accuracy, 0.29 and 1.5 aiming time, is something that is really good. You know, it's not unthinkable that that's gonna happen. But once you bounce one shell, you're already kind of screwed up because you're gonna have to reload for a minute. The other gun is the 150 derp gun, kind of a derp gun. It's gonna have 4 shells compared to the 6 in its clip. 3 seconds of time between shells. Compared to the 2 of the 12.8, you're gonna have to reload for 50 seconds, so that's 10 seconds shorter. And with Brothers in Arms, it's gonna come around to like 46-ish, 45-ish, which is pretty good. You're only gonna have a pen of 235 though, which is not great, and you're gonna have an average damage of 750. The DPM of the 15 centimeter gun is actually higher because you're gonna fire the first shell, then you already only have 3 shells to go and 3 seconds between it, so you're gonna have 9 seconds to empty your entire clip. With the 12.8, you're gonna have 6 shells with 2 in between, so you're gonna fire your first shell and then you have 5 shells with 2 seconds between times. It's gonna be 10 seconds, so you're gonna empty this clip faster with more alpha per shot. This is gonna be about, let's see, 3k damage if you're gonna hit every one of them. This is gonna go slightly above 3k damage. This is actually gonna be, let's see, 30. It's gonna be around 3,200. And accuracy is, well, much worse. 0.34 is still pretty damn good for this kind of a gun. And 1.9 aiming time for 15 centimeter gun is pretty damn good still. But it's gonna come down to preference really. Excuse me. Yeah, this thing is pretty damn crazy. It has 6 crew members, like all the E100s, 2 loaders. It has the same loadout as the Yakman's E100, so if you're looking to change your crew into this one, you're gonna have a really good crew already. So this is my Yakman's E100 crew that I converted. So I already have Brothers in Arms, 6th Sense, Camo, Rotational Speed, Deadeye, And so that's gonna be really good if you're gonna have to train your crew up. You might want to use that crew if you don't like your Yakmas E100 anymore or something like that. You're also gonna have 420 fuel range, which is really good. I think only the American medium has 420 fuel range as well. So that's really, really nice. No armor to speak of really. Everybody's gonna shoot your turret. Everybody's gonna pen. Even tier 1s can pen that. But compared with the speed of 40, the first speed of 30 on an E100 chassis, that's gonna be pretty nimble for an E100 chassis, to be honest. And I think this is gonna be a really good tier 10 in the correct hands, really. If people are gonna, you know, miss shots or they're just gonna rush forward, yeah, people are gonna die so quickly in this tank. And I think the balance is all right. I think if you're a really good player, you can make a lot of use out of it. But I think it's gonna be one of those things that is one of those tanks that is pretty hard to master. Really, most people are just gonna rush in, fire their 6 shells, and die or something like that. But yeah, I think this is gonna be a pretty competitive tier 10, to be honest. Also in Clan Wars, and where, you know, there's so many gold shells flying around, you're not gonna need your armor that much, anyways. So yeah, this entire tech tree, pretty damn good, I have to say. I don't think there's one bad tank in it, and it's definitely the tank line I'm gonna grind once this patch hits. And yeah, let me know, what do you think of this entire tech tree? After this, we're gonna take a look at the new premium tanks, and there's 3 of them. The Japanese, a new Russian, and a new Chinese tank. So let's take a look at those. Alright, so this is the very first Japanese tank in the world of tanks. It's gonna be the Type 3 Chinukai. It's gonna have the standard loadout of commander, gunner, driver, radio operator, and loader. No double loaders, no nothing. The speed limit is actually quite good, 38.8. It's alright. It's not as speedy as some of the other mediums. 38 to first speed is really good. Let's see what the gun is like. 75 caliber gun. A rate of fire of 12. It's pretty good. 124 pen with 125 average damage and an accuracy of 0.37 and a 2.3 aiming time. 2.3 aiming time is what I always look for in my medium tanks. So that's pretty damn good to have on the move. You're gonna aim pretty quickly. Anything above 2.3 on medium tanks is kinda lackluster for me, really. Things like the Panther 2 has like 2.7 aiming time. It used to have 2.9. It really hurts the medium tank class, I think. You're gonna want to have a low aiming time. The armor, you know, it's a medium tank at tier 5. It's not that great. It's 50, 25, and 20 in the hull, and 75, 50, 50 on the turret. Overall though, as a medium tank at tier 5, I think this could be a very fun vehicle to drive. I've tried it on the test server, but I mostly met like tier 7s, so it does not get preferential matchmaking. It's also important to note, if you're looking for that, it does not get preferential matchmaking like the Churchill 3 does. This one does not. Let's take a look at the camo, because it's an entire new nation, so people are gonna want to see those as well. They have pretty crazy camo. Of course, this is all white. Winter camo also has this one, like green white. Looks pretty cool, to be honest. The summer camo. As you will notice, there's not that many variations of camo yet. So you got this one and this one. So this one looks pretty cool. Also, the desert camo is pretty crazy. You get a blue one. It's not really a color I would pick for your desert camo, but it does look pretty neat, I have to say. And it also gets this one, which could also kind of looks like the summer camo, really. Yeah, pretty good looking tank, I have to say. I think it's, you know, it's kind of dorky. I don't know, I kind of like it. I like the aesthetics here. See, well, emblems not going to be different. Inscriptions, well, you know, see if there's very honorable. Attacked, waterfall, steel, special purpose unit. Oh, samurai spirit, death blow. So there's not a lot of inscriptions yet, but I'm sure they will come when the entire tech tree is released. Same goes for the camouflage. There's only 2 for each, but I'm pretty sure these will get more selections once the entire tech tree is here. And rumor has it might be the next patch after 8.9, so 9.0 or 0.9. But yeah, overall, I think if you're looking to already train your medium crew, which I think that's the biggest appeal right now, I think it could be a lot of fun in this thing. You know, it's pretty average across the board, but you're already gonna have a good Japanese crew for once the tech tree releases. So I think the earlier you get this, the more value you're gonna get out of it, really. So yeah, this has been the Type 3 Shidokai. Alright, this is the other new premium, the Type 64. People already are familiar with the Type 62 at tier 7, which used to be a tier 6. And we now get the Type 64, which I'm told is basically kind of like a Hellcat, really. It looks really familiar to a Hellcat. I think it has the chassis of a Hellcat and a turret of something else. I'm not too sure. It's like a modified kind of version. But it's actually something that the most crazy thing about this thing really is that it is open topped. It has a lot of gun depression. It's really speedy, no armor, no turret armor whatsoever. So it's like totally something that is not already in the Chinese tech tree. The Chinese are known for having no gun depression at all, having somewhat good turret armor. Even the light tanks have like 45 turret armor, slopes really well. But the Type 64 is like unlike any of those tanks, really. You're gonna have 390 fuel range, speed limit 72.4. That's crazy fast at the first speed of 56. This is really, really nimble light tank. And personally, I think this is going to be a really, really good buy if you're for training your crew members on the Chinese side of things. The one thing that is a bit crazy is because of this whole different layout, your crew is also a bit, I wouldn't say weird, but like different. Because it gets a separate radio operator. As you will notice on your Type 62 and your high-end scout of the Chinese, they have 4 crew members. They have a commander, a gunner, a driver, and a loader. The Type 64 gets a commander, gunner, driver, loader, and the radio operator. So if you already have brothers in arms and stuff like that, it's going to be somewhat annoying because you're going to need a radio operator that has brothers in arms as well. If you don't, it doesn't really matter all that much, but it's still something to look out for. That's, I wouldn't say annoying, but just as a heads up. And you can still train your other crew, which is fine, of course. Overall, I think this is going to be a really fun scout to play. Let's take a look at the gun. It's tier 6, 76mm gun, rate of fire of 18, really good, 128 pen, which is alright if you're facing tier 6s and 5s maybe, but as a scout with no special matchmaking, yeah, that's going to be somewhat problematic. Your premium rounds, however, have 177, so that's workable. The accuracy is 0.4, is not that great. Aiming time of 2.1 is really good. But, you know, as a scout, it's not about the guns. It's going to be about the speed, your camouflage, and your fuel range. And that it does have. I think this is a really fun scout. As you can see, the Type 62 goes 60, which is alright. But let me tell you, the Type 62, 72.4 is ridiculously high. And, yeah, this is going to be one hell of a premium tank. But would I buy it if you already have a Type 62? Nah, depending on the price. We don't know what the price is going to be like. You know, Type 62 is a really good tank as well. It pretty much gets the same matchmaking. I know it's a tier 6 versus tier 7, but scouts do see tier 10s and 9s. And would I rather be in the Type 62 than in the Type 64? I'm not sure. Gun selection wise, I probably want to be in this one. A little bit more pen. Gold pen of 220 is really good. But the Type 64 is just more nimble. So it's going to be a matter of preference, really. But I think this is a really good premium vehicle to have added, especially since the Type 62 is not being sold right now. It's mostly you can only win it. So for those who can't seem to win the Type 62, it's a really good alternative and a really fun alternative, I think. Alright, let's take a look at the last premium vehicle that's being added in 8.9. It's the T4485. This tank, I don't know. I don't know, guys. It gets a tier 6 gun with a pen of 126. It's the first thing I've noticed here. It's a tier 6 gun. 0.42 accuracy, so you're not gonna really be sniping anything with it. 2.3 aiming time is nice, but 2.6 or 126 average pen is not gonna cut it, I think. Even if you take a look at the German tier 7, which people don't like because of its gun, gets a pen of 150 with a better accuracy. So yeah, I'm not sure if this is a good vehicle to get right now. It is the one of the, well, let's see, is it Matilda? Was that a medium? Yeah, you can train your medium crew in the Matilda, and now you're gonna get the option to train it in this one as well. Because of the gun, this is definitely not gonna see tier 9. This is gonna get preferential matchmaking. If it doesn't, oh man, that's gonna be so bad. But I'm pretty sure it will. Looking at the speed first, that's all fine and dandy. It's 5.1, 51.6. The first speed of 56 is really good. The horror armor is 75. It's not great. Turret armor is pretty good, especially at this slope. But people can shoot your weak spot though. The commander's cupola leather. At 115, 90. This is going to be 90 armor at this slope, so that's going to be pretty damn good. But just the gun is such a disappointment that, yeah, I don't think this will be worth a buy at the moment. They might change it, they might not, but nah, I don't think this is a really good tank. We're gonna have to see if it gets any credit multipliers or whatever as a premium tank. It does will make you credits, but like people will know that, for example, the KV5 gets a better credit multiplier than some of the other, like the FCM premium at tier 8. So yeah, this I just wish it had a better gun. Otherwise, it would, for medium, it's alright. 370 fuel range as well, 600 signal range. You know, turret first of 40. It's all good, but the gun is so lacking that I don't know if this is gonna be such a good premium to have, unless you really, really want to train your Russian medium crew. Yeah. So this is gonna be kind of a rough buy for me. I'm not sure. Maybe with the preferential matchmaking will kind of make things better, but I just think that the pen is so low, 126. It's gonna be crazy. So yeah, that's that. I'm curious about what you guys think of this thing. To be honest, I think this is the out of the premiums, this is the one that I'd, buy last if I was gonna buy every one of them. I'm curious what you guys think about this one. The T4485. Yeah, let me know. Especially the guns, like, I think it should get a slightly better gun. Something with a bit more pen, maybe not even more damage. 160 damage is alright. But yeah. The gun is a bit crazy. Alright, let's take a look at the last premium vehicle that's being added in 8.9. It's the T4485. This tank, I don't know, guys. It gets a tier 6 gun with a pen of 126. It's the first thing I've noticed here. It's a tier 6 gun. 0.42 accuracy, so you're not gonna really be sniping anything with it. 2.3 aiming time is nice, but 2.6 or 126 average pen is not gonna cut it, I think. Even if you take a look at the German tier 7, which people don't like because of its gun, gets a pen of 150 with a better accuracy. So yeah, I'm not sure if this is a good vehicle to get right now. It is the one of the, well, let's see, is it Matilda? Was that a medium? Yeah, you can train your medium crew in the Matilda, and now you're gonna get the option to train it in this one as well. Because of the gun, this is definitely not gonna see tier 9. This is gonna get preferential matchmaking. If it doesn't, oh man, that's gonna be so bad. But I'm pretty sure it will. Looking at the speed first, that's all fine and dandy. It's 5.1, 51.6. The first speed of 56 is really good. The horror armor is 75. It's not great. Turret armor is pretty good, especially at this slope. But people can shoot your weak spot though. The commander's cupola letter. At 115, 90. This is going to be 90 armor at this slope, so that's going to be pretty damn good. But just the gun is such a disappointment that, yeah, I don't think this will be worth a buy at the moment. They might change it, they might not, but nah, I don't think this is a really good tank. We're gonna have to see if it gets any credit multipliers or whatever as a premium tank. It does will make you credits, but like people will know that, for example, the KV5 gets a better credit multiplier than some of the other, like the FCM premium at tier 8. So yeah, this I just wish it had a better gun. Otherwise, it would, for medium, it's alright. 370 fuel range as well, 600 signal range. You know, turret first of 40. It's all good, but the gun is so lacking that I don't know if this is gonna be such a good premium to have, unless you really, really want to train your Russian medium crew. Yeah. So this is gonna be kind of a rough buy for me. I'm not sure. Maybe with the preferential matchmaking will kind of make things better, but I just think that the pen is so low, 126. It's gonna be crazy. So yeah, that's that. I'm curious about what you guys think of this thing. To be honest, I think this is the out of the premiums, this is the one that I'd, you know, buy last if I was gonna buy every one of them. I'm curious what you guys think about this one. The T4485. Yeah, let me know. Especially the guns, like, I think it should get a slightly better gun. Something with a bit more pen, maybe not even more damage. 160 damage is alright. But yeah. The gun is a bit crazy. So this has been patch 8.9, or at least a preview of it on the test server. This is the first time I actually tried something like this. It's actually harder than I thought it would kind of be, you know. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys got a, you know, a slight preview of things to come. I think the German TD line is a really fun. It's gonna be a really fun tank line to grind. There's not really a bad tank in it, but you're gonna have to get used to having absolutely no armor at all. But pretty beastly guns all across the board, and the new premium vehicles they have some really good ones, to be honest. I think the Japanese ones, Chinese ones are good. The Russian ones, the gun just makes it a bit meh. But we're gonna have to see how it performs on the live server. Playing all of these things on the test server is not that great. Everybody's just firing HE at your turrets and stuff like that. So actual gameplay of these, you know, we're gonna have to see how it goes on live. Overall, I think this patch is gonna be a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to playing it on the live server. If you did enjoy this video, please don't forget to leave a comment and a like. And don't forget, I also stream almost daily on Twitch TV/Circon. Hope to see you guys there. Hope you enjoyed this video. And until next time, good luck on the battlefield, guys. Bye bye.